Hello everyone, welcome to Akademi Ekonometri. Today in economics course, I will try to give you a brief introduction with covering the topics of week 1. In week 1, we will first of all define the economics, and then I will try to explain why the scarcity is really important when we are defining the economics. And then I will try to explain the two main branches in economics, which are microeconomics and macroeconomics. Then we will try to learn the terms or the concepts of opportunity cost and the marginal analysis and why they are really important. Finally, we will create our first and the simplest model that we are going to use in this course, which is called Production Possibilities Frontier. And related to that, I will try to explain the law of increasing cost. First of all, let's start with the purpose of this class. At the end of this class, you will be an informed citizen and you will understand the markets, and hopefully you can make better personal decisions because you will learn why being rational individuals are really important in economics, and hopefully you will make rational decisions all the time at the end of this course. And before defining the term of economics, I will try to give you a stereotypical representation of a boring economics class. And hopefully, after you engage and participate our class, you will have a fun economics class instead of a boring one. Let me show you the boring economics class, and as you can see from this video, the teacher is trying to explain all the concepts and students are looking to him like he is trying to explain nuclear physics or something.
Great Depression passed anyone? The tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which anyone raised or raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class?
Okay, so hopefully you're not going to be a student like that. Hopefully you will focus, try to learn, understand the concepts, do the applications, and you will have a fun class. So let's try to define the economics, but I will tell you that scarcity is a really important part that you need to understand before we define economics. That's why I will first try to explain to you what does scarcity mean. So scarcity is actually about the limited nature of society's resources. It tries to tell you that nothing is infinite in our nature, not even air and water. You might tell me that the air and the water is plenty in our universe, in our world, but I can tell you my answer to that sentence will be, can you count air? Can you count water? If you can count it, that means it is infinite. It's not finite. So that's why in economics science, we are trying to match our limited resources to satisfy individuals' nearly unlimited wants. Because as human beings, we know that our wants are unlimited. We always want more. If I offer you $10 or $20, of course you will choose the $20. You want the more. The bigger is the better. That's why there is a matching problem. Our wants are unlimited, but we know that our resources are limited. So we have to allocate all of these things to match our unlimited wants. So basically, economics is the study of how people make decisions, because people will make decisions to match their unlimited wants to their limited resources. So when I say unlimited wants, is that really true? Let's try to cover that part first. So if I offer you $10 or $20, which one do you want to pick? Of course you will pick $20. and assuming that there is no cost related to that action. If I offer you one vehicle or 20 vehicles, which one are which one are you going to pick? Of course, you are going to pick the 2 vehicle. The bigger is always the better. So the idea is more is preferred to less, or the bigger is always the bit better. So this leads to unlimited wants. That's why I'm telling you, as human being, as individual, you have unlimited wants. So it doesn't mean that humans are greedy, but we know that we want more. So the question is, how does this relate to scarcity? The relationship should be really obvious because we have limited resources and we all want to use these limited resources without the limit because we have unlimited wants. That's why there's a matching problem, and the economics basically trying to do that matching problem or solve that matching problem. So let's cover the 2 main branches in economics. These are microeconomics and macroeconomics. Let's start with the micro part. Micro is generally concerned with decisions of individuals, households, and businesses. So we might ask questions like, what happens to my consumption if I lose my job? As you can see from this question is totally related to an individual. It's not related to a general a country or a region or a city. It is only about an individual. The second sentence says, Jim decides to buy a house while the interest rate is low. That's a usual action to do. If the interest rate is really low, you might increase your purchase. We are going to cover these kind of decisions later in the course, but as you can see, this sentence is again related to micro part of the economy, which is related to individuals. I'm going to give you more sentences about microeconomics, but next let's cover macroeconomics. So macroeconomics looks at the broader economy. When I say broader economy, I'm talking about the economy of a country, maybe a region, maybe a city. So it deals with inflation, growth, employment, interest rates, and the productivity. So we might ask some questions or sentences as an example. The first one is, what happens to the economy if there's a widespread unemployment? So as you can see, in the micro part, we only cared about the decision of the consumption when one individual loses his job. But right now, in the macro part, we are asking what's going to happen to the economy when there's a widespread unemployment. So again, the idea or the problem is about the losing job, but in the macro part, we are looking from the broader perspective. The second sentence is the Federal Reserve decreases interest rates to spur spending and kickstart the economy. We are going to cover that part again later in the macro part. So right now I want you to compare these 2 sentences. In the micro part, I only give you a sentence about the individual, one individual. When the interest rate is low, Jim decides to buy a house. Again, the problems coming or the idea or the decision is related to low interest rates. In the macro part, again, we have the interest rate, but that interest rate is affecting the whole economy, the broader economy. So that's why this sentence is related to macroeconomy. So basically, when we try to compare the micro and the macro parts, micro part deals with the individuals and the firms or the businesses, but the macro part deals with the broader economy, the economy of the whole country or the region or the city, whatever you say. But I want to express something before going further. Without learning microeconomics, without learning the concepts and the topics and the applications in the microeconomics, it is going to be really hard to understand the macroeconomics. So the foundation of the macroeconomics is basically starts with learning microeconomics. Now I'm trying to give you more examples about the microeconomics, and I want to again help you remember microeconomics is related to individuals and the firms. One example can be individual choosing to take a job in Florida or California. It's about employment, but it's related to only one individual. And two individuals that get coupled and then they decided to start a family in a city. So as you can see, all of these actions or the sentences are related to a single individual. You can look to this last sentence here, effect of a government intervention on a single market. You might say that, hey, this is a macroeconomic sentence. No, actually, because that government intervention is affecting a single market, not a whole economy. So it's a decision given in a single market which affects only some firms, not all of the firms in the economy. That's why it's a sentence given for the microeconomics. How about the macroeconomics? As I said, it's a study of the broader economy. Some examples will be in the macro part. We are going to cover the inflation. I'm going to explain or give a lot of information about inflation later in this course. We are going to cover what does economic growth mean. We are going to cover unemployment, interest rates, aggregate demand and supply, and these concepts are covering the whole economy. When you open the news channel, for example, a channel about economics, they always talk about inflation, unemployment rate, interest rates. Yeah, these terms related to our whole economy, not only single individuals. That's why these concepts can be taught as the concepts which is related to macroeconomics. So the next part is covering the 5 foundations of economics. When you open a regular economics textbook, you will see up to 10 foundations of economics, but I generally tend to use 5 foundations, and I cover only 3 of them in detail. The first 2 are really obvious to understand. You can understand that first 2 topics or the foundations intrinsically. You know these foundations. That's why I will only explain these first two foundations with my words, not by writing or showing you some slides. The first one is the incentives matter. So in economics, incentives are really important. Incentives can be positive incentives or the negative incentives. So at the start of this course, I told you that if you fill out the course evaluation survey, if more than 75% of the students fill out the course evaluation survey, I said I promise you guys to give you 5 extra points. So that is working as a positive incentive. So when you see that 5 extra points, you will tend to fill out that course evaluation survey more than before. So economics actually functions like that. So imagine that you are a farmer, you are producing corn, and the government offers you to give you a subsidy. Subsidy is kind of a help given to the producers or the firms to produce that good, whatever the good you're producing. Government gives some money to you, and with that extra money, your cost basically decreases, so you can produce more of that good. So if government offers you, let's say 1,000 Turkish liras, if you produce 1,000 tons of corn, of course, you will tend to produce more of that good. So incentives matter in economics. The second foundation is life is about trade-offs. Life is about trade-offs. You always use this foundation in your life. For example, you have 2 options. The 2 options are spending some time with your friends, and the second option is staying at home and playing video games by yourself. So first of all, I have to make you remember that you have a scarce good or scarce thing in your life, which is time. You don't have enough time to do both of them. In a regular day, you most probably have 12 hours to do something outside or at home. If I subtract eating time, sleeping time, let's say you have 12 hours. So in this scarce time, what do you want to do? Do you want to go outside with your friends, or do you want to stay at home and play video games? So basically, you need to make a choice. So because of scarcity, you have trade-offs. If you choose going outside with your friends, you are not going to play video game in your home, at your home. So if you want to play video games at your home, you will not go outside with your friends. So basically, there's a trade-off. And this trade-off foundation is actually related to opportunity cost. We are going to cover the opportunity cost, marginal thinking, and the trade creates values in the first 2 weeks of this course. In detail, of course. Let's start with the opportunity cost. First of all, let's try to understand what is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is actually the highest valued alternative that must be sacrificed in order to get something else. So let's turn back to our previous example. I gave you two options. You have a scarce resource, which is time. So that's why you have to make a choice, right? So you have two options. The first one is spending some time with home, or spending some time with your friends, or spending time at home. So if you choose to spend some time at home, there will be a cost related to that choice. Because if you choose spend some time with your friends, you will lose the opportunity to stay at home and play video games, or vice versa. What I mean is, if you choose to stay at home and play video games, in this case, you will lose the opportunity to go outside and spend time with your friends. The important part here is, when I say the highest valued alternative, it doesn't mean all of the alternatives. It means that we are talking about only the next best choice. That's really important. We are going to cover that part later. In economics, the cost of something is what you give up to get it. As you can turn back to my previous example and you will understand that better. But as you can see, I'm talking about the scarcity. I'm talking about the trade-offs, which means the choice. And because of the choice that we are going to make, there is an opportunity cost related to each choice. So let me give you one example to elaborate the opportunity cost concept a little bit more. So in that easy example, we have two options to do. Again, the first one is going to mall, and the second one is going to pool. The opportunity cost of going to mall is the lost opportunity to go to the pool. So when you go to the mall, you will lose the opportunity to go to pool. The second one, if you look from the other side, the opportunity cost of going to pool is the lost opportunity to go to mall. Basically, whatever you do, you lose something. Always there is a cost related to your action. So decision-making key here. Which option you should do? Which option should you do in this case? Should you go to mall or should you go to pool? The decision-making key is you need to minimize the opportunity cost by selecting the option that has the largest benefit. So which one do you like most? Do you like going mall or pool the most? Let's say you like the mall. You like going to mall most, so you have to go to mall. By doing that, you can minimize the opportunity cost every time. So at the end, you have to go to whichever you enjoy more. It might be the pool or the mall. We are going to do some example and you will understand that better. And another example might be a business making profit. That's great. Everyone loves profit. But however, we can ask important question here as an economist. Could it have made more profit producing something else? That's the economical way of thinking. So in that question, we are asking you, hey, for example, you're making a profit of 5,000 Turkish liras every month. That's cool. You like that money. But I'm asking you, could you make more money if you had spent that capital in something else? For example, instead of opening the shop 1, could you had opened shop 2 and make more profit? That's why you have to always think the cost related to your choice. What I mean is, for example, you open a shop 1, and you made 5,000 Turkish lira profit. And then in shop 2, you can spend that money in some other business. And let's say you could have made 6,000 Turkish lira profit. So opening shop 1 has an opportunity cost, which is 6,000 Turkish liras. And opening shop 2 has an opportunity cost, which is 5,000 Turkish liras. So in that case, of course, to minimize your cost or maximize your valuation of the shop or of opening the shop or the profit, you have to choose shop 2. That's the way of economical thinking. We have to always analyze our decisions step by step by using the opportunity cost. I will explain what I mean step by step later when we are thinking marginal thinking or marginal analysis. But before covering the marginal thinking, I need to explain to you what is economic thinking. When I say economic thinking, you need to understand that it is the systematically evaluating a course of action. So every step we are going to evaluate the benefits and the cost of your actions. Then we will try to give our decision. So in economic thinking, it requires a purposeful evaluation of available opportunities to make the best decision. So our purpose is to make the best decision, but we have to make that evaluation systematically all the time. Actually, the marginal thinking is really related to economic thinking. So first of all, let me try to explain what's marginal. Marginal means the extra or the next. In the marginal thinking, we will evaluate whether the benefit of one more unit of something is greater than the cost. So at every step, for example, when you eat one slice of pizza, you have to compare the benefit and the cost of every slice. Marginal examples can be one more unit of something. It might be a slice of pizza. It might be a bite of chocolate, or one more hour of activity. It might be studying or sleeping. I will try to give you more examples and you will understand better. But first, right now you have to remember that when I say margin, it means the extra or the next. And marginal thinking is comparing the benefit and the cost of each action in every step. So marginal thinking example, suppose you are vacuuming your living room. Will you move the couch and china cabinet to vacuum underneath them? So the idea is you want to clean your room, but we know that the couch and the china cabinet, they are delicate items and you might break something and they're also heavy. So you have to spend a lot of energy and you will risk breaking them. So the idea is when you clean underneath the china cabinet, yeah, you're going to clean some dust, but is it going to worth it? That's the main question. If the marginal benefit of vacuuming underneath the china cabinet exceeds the marginal cost of it. If that's the case, you have to do action. If the opposite is the case, you shouldn't clean underneath the china cabinet. So the marginal benefit in this case, as I explained, a small additional amount of carpet is cleaned. That's your benefit. What's your cost? Vacuuming will take more time and effort. You would spend more energy. So basically in marginal thinking, we are doing cost-benefit analysis, but the analysis is happening in the margin. That's the main part in the margin analysis. So do the action only if the marginal benefits are greater than the marginal cost. And you have to do that comparison in every step. So, and it's going to depend on your valuation of the clean room and the time and effort it takes you to move the furniture. So basically, this sentence is trying to explain to you that you can not only look the marginal benefits and decide, you have to look to the marginal benefits, marginal costs, and you have to compare them to give a final decision. So before moving further in the slides, I will try to give you one more explanation or example that I will create right now. So usually when we are not doing online education or regular education, I always ask my students, or I always do some class exercise by asking students, how many bites of chocolate do you want to eat if the chocolate is free? And I want them to write down in a table their marginal benefits and the marginal costs. So right now I will try to give you one example. I will create a table here. What I will do is in the first column I will try to write the number of the bytes. I will explain the details in a moment. So all of these rows will give me the bytes. So for now, let's write only 5 bytes. And you can go as much byte as you want. There is no limit. Chocolate is free. You don't need to think about the cost of the chocolate. And the only thing what I want you to guys write is, give me the benefit you get from the first byte, and give me the cost you get from the first byte, and give me the net gain. What's the difference between the benefit and the cost after the first byte? So how are you going to give value to the first byte and the second byte? You have to use numbers from 1 to 10. So when you say, for example, you get the first bite of that chocolate, and if you think that it's wonderful, the benefit is the highest, you're going to say 10. If the benefit is the lowest, you can use 1. So that's our valuation system. Let's say, in my case, when I get the first bite of chocolate, I get 8 benefit. And my cost is, let's say, 2. My net gain is 6, the difference, because I have a cost and I have a benefit, and I'm just trying to understand my net benefit or the net gain. So in the second bite, let's say, I have 6 benefit, 4 cost, and 5 benefit, 5 cost. Let's say I want to continue to the fourth bite, which says benefit is 4, cost is 6. Now let me write the net gains, 2, 0, and minus 2, negative 2. And let's say I didn't go to fifth bite. I just stopped at the fourth bite. So let's try to understand if I made a rational choice or not, if I am a rational behavior or not. So as you can see, since we are trying to think like an economist, we are using the marginal thinking, marginal analysis, and we are trying to evaluate our actions at each step at the margin. So at the first margin, I'm trying to compare my benefit and the cost. Since my benefit is exceeding the cost, which is given here, net gain is 6, the marginal analysis is telling me to continue doing that action because I know that I am in profit. I'm making profit in my mind because I'm getting more benefit than the cost I'm doing. So I have to continue for the second step. That's why I ate the second step. In the second step, I get my benefit 6 and my cost 4. So my net gain is 2. So that's why I have to go to the third step, which is telling me that to eat the third bite. In the third bite, as you can see, I have 5 benefit and the 5 cost, and the difference is 0. So in that case, the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost. Let's fill that marginal here. Since we are doing the marginal analysis, we can fill now. So as you can see, in the third step, marginal benefit equals marginal cost. So the marginal thinking or the marginal analysis is telling me as a theory that to stop whenever you see marginal benefit equals marginal cost. That's the point you have to stop. If you go beyond that point or the step, you will make a irrational decision. You will become an irrational person, individual. Let's see if I am really irrational or not. So I should have stopped at step 3, but I know that I ate the fourth chocolate bite. So when I ate the fourth chocolate bite, my net gain is -2, which means that actually I am harming my body. So basically, I am an irrational person. What should I do? Actually, I should have stop at bite 3 here. So the rule is you have to continue doing some action as long as marginal benefit is higher than the marginal cost. Where should you stop? You should stop whenever the marginal benefit is equal to marginal cost. You might tell me that, hey, I'm not getting any gain at the third step. Why I'm doing that? Because the idea is so simple. You are not harming your body. As long as you're not harming your body, as long as you don't have the negative gain, you should do that action. And the other concepts that you have to know is the total benefit and the total cost concepts. So for now, until now, I showed you what is marginal benefit and the marginal cost. And I told you that in the marginal analysis, you are comparing the marginal benefit and the marginal cost at each step. So imagine that you're walking on a line and each step is showing your marginal benefit, for example. And by using the marginal benefit, you can calculate the total benefit. For example, this is the first step. This is the marginal benefit, the first marginal benefit when you eat the first chocolate. The second step, this is the marginal benefit when you eat the second chocolate. So basically, at the end of the first step, your total benefit will be equal to marginal benefit. This is total benefit. At the end of the second step, your total benefit will be the summation of the first benefit, first marginal benefit, and the second marginal benefit. So basically, the total benefit is the summation of each marginal benefits you had until so far. So for that, I will try to rewrite the table I created above by using the marginal benefit, marginal cost. Then I will try to write the total benefit and the total cost, and also the net gain, and I'm going to abbreviate it with NG, and I will write only 3 steps because I know that to be rational individual, I had to stop at step 3. So as far as you remember, the marginal benefit was 8.2 for the first step. Marginal cost is 2, then 6.4, then 5.5. Right now, I will try to explain to you why we are doing our analysis at the margin, but why we are not comparing the total benefit and the total cost and trying to keep decision. So you know that the net gain for the first step is 6 already, 2 for the second step, 0 for the third step, and that's the step that you have to stop. And let's see, we can find the same solution by comparing the total benefit and the total cost. To calculate the total benefit for the first step, we know the marginal benefit is 8, so total benefit is 8. But for the second step, the total benefit should be the summation of the first step and the second step. That's why the marginal cost will be 8 plus 6, which is 14. I'm sorry, my total benefit should be 14. So total benefit or the third step should be the summation of 8, 6, and 5. We have 14, this first two steps, so that's why I'm summing 14 and 5. So total benefit at the end of the third step is 19. How about the total cost? Total cost at the first step is 2, then 6, 2 plus 4, then 6 plus 5, which is 11. As you can see, when you compare the total benefit and the total cost, the analysis is telling you you are making profit intrinsically in your mind. But that's not the case, because we know that in economics, you have to always do the analysis, the benefit and the cost analysis at the margin, at each step. So basically, marginal analysis is telling you you have to stop at the third byte. But if you had compared the total benefit and the total cost, the analysis is telling you to continue, move forward, which is not right. So be careful. You cannot use total benefit and the total cost to make a decision. You have to use the marginals all the time. And one more caveat, one more warning for you is, for example, if the question gives you only the marginal benefit is asking you, should you continue to that action? You cannot give any decision. To make a decision, you have to be given two separate informations. The first one is the benefit side, marginal benefit I'm talking about, and the second part is the marginal cost. As long as you have these two separate informations, you can compare them, you can find the net gain, and you can make a marginal analysis and make a rational decision. That's really important. So to have more example or applications about the marginal benefit, marginal cost, total benefit, and total cost, you can check the worksheet questions, and we can make that second question right now quickly. The question is asking you, suppose that the jeans cost $25. Assuming you're a rational person, how many pairs of jeans would you buy? So as you can see, the marginal benefits of each jeans at each step is given to you already. The only thing you have to do is filling out the marginal cost side and calculating the net gain. As long as the net gain is positive, bigger than 0, you have to continue doing that action. As soon as you see a 0 net gain, that means you have to stop. So let me give you the filled version of that question. So the table is already filled. Since the price of the jeans is $25, I'm filling 25 for the marginal cost at each step, because it doesn't matter if you buy one jeans or the two jeans, the cost is always same in that question. It might not be the case in every question, but in this question, that's the case. So jeans always cost $25. So when we check the first step, we know that the marginal benefit is 55, marginal cost is 25, my net gain is 30. So I will continue until I see 0 net gain. But unfortunately, in this question, we cannot see 0 net gain. So what's going to happen is you need to continue until the 4th jeans. So you will buy the 4th jeans because you are making positive net gain. But as soon as you are trying to buy the 5th jean, you will make a -1 net gain, which means that if you do this action, you will become irrational individual. That's why you should stop buying 4 pairs of jeans. You shouldn't buy the 5th pair. So you might ask me that why I didn't see a condition like marginal benefit equals marginal cost in this case. That's related to the question actually. Sometimes if we cannot divide the good in question into really small parts, we cannot have zero net gain. Right now, I cannot have, for example, 1.5 genes or 1.6 genes. If I could have that kind of genes, yeah, maybe I can get a net gain of 0. But in some questions, we cannot divide these goods into separate or small parts like 1.5 genes or 1.6 genes. That's why we are not getting 0 net gain. But regularly or generally, we will have a condition like this, and that will be the condition that you will give your decision and you will stop doing that action or stop buying that good. So let's continue on our slides. I have one more example, and in this example we are trying to find out, is going to college worth it? Let's examine a college education using opportunity cost and marginal thinking. Remember, we used the opportunity cost. I told you it's really important. It's one of the 5 foundations of economics. And we covered marginal analysis, marginal thinking. It's also one of the 5 foundations of economics. So we are trying to combine these concepts and try to understand or try to answer that question, is going to college worth it? Because we often hear from people, and these people are especially politicians, they say phrases like that: college graduates earn $1 million more in their lifetimes than high school grads. Is that really true? Did they really do some analysis, economic analysis about that, or are these sentences popular sentences? So the other sentences might be, everyone should go to college. Is that really true? College will benefit everyone. Is that really true? Again, the same question. So to answer these questions, I am trying to create a simple model. So our intent here is to compare how much a high school grad and how much a university or college grad is earning, and we will try to compare them. So I'm using y and x-axis here. On the y-axis we have the yearly earnings. On the x-axis we have age, and I'm starting the age from 18 because we assume here that a regular student graduates from high school at the age of 18. And a regular student goes to university at the age of 22. So on this red line, I'm trying to show you how much a high school graduate is earning throughout his or her lifetime. And on this green line, I'm trying to show you how much a university, a college grad is earning throughout his or her lifetime. So as you can see on this red line, the yearly earnings are increasing because a person is getting more experienced, so he or she will make more money each year. But after some time, the yearly earnings will reach the maximum because this person will retire, and most probably the retirement money will be low. The monthly retirement money will be lower than the regular earnings. So the earnings will decrease after some time. On the green line, as you can see, this university grad student is making some debt. Instead of making some money, he is making some debt. And this debt is related to the spendings he or she is making in university. It might be the tuition, lively expenses, and books expenses and such. And after he or she graduates from the university, she will make more money than the high school graduates, and his salary will increase, reach to max, and then as it happened in the high school grad, it will start to decrease. So our job is to compare the yearly earnings, lifetime earnings for the university grad and the high school grad. So as you can see, I filled that graphic with some letters. So X will show me the direct costs of college. As I said, it might be tuition, the costs related to books, computer, everything, the life expenses. And the Y is the lost opportunity or the opportunity cost of not working while in college. And we are here assuming that this university kid is not working while he is studying in the college. So Y, the letter Y represents the opportunity cost of not working while in the college. So at the age of 18, this university kid has two options. The first option is she can be a high school grad and she can immediately start working in a job and she will get paid, of course. But if she chooses to go to university, she will lose the opportunity of earning that Y amount of money. That's why Y letter here represents the opportunity cost of not working while in the college. And this will be the part of the cost of going to college, of course. So what does the Z mean? Imagine that there is one more letter here, W. W is actually the earnings after both of the college and the high school graduates earning after the age 22. But there is also letter difference, which is letter Z. Letter Z represents how much more a college graduate is making than the high school graduate after the age 22. So basically, Z represents just the difference. That's why I'm going to use only the letter Z to make the comparison. And at the end of the analysis, we have to say that if the amount of Z is higher than the summation of X and Y, that person, that student needs to go to college. Because remember, we are always making our analysis at the margin using the opportunity cost. So after our calculation, only students who have Z larger than X plus Y needs to go to college. So phrases like everyone needs to go to college is not true for everyone. So we did the marginal benefit and marginal cost analysis. So what's our decision? Difficult question is this: are the benefits of college greater than the costs of college for everybody? Does that apply to everyone? Does everyone has the area Z which is larger than the summation of X plus Y? It might not be true for everyone. That's why the popular questions that the politicians are using all the time are not true. So as a result, economists will generally disagree with such blanket statements as everyone will benefit from a college education. Monetary-wise, that's not true. But cultural and educational-wise, that might be true. But for now, we only try to make our analysis monetary-wise. That's why it is not true. It's not a true statement for everybody. So one more caveat for you. You need to check the lecture notes for week 1 for marginal analysis section, which we did, but you might check that at home again. And what you need to focus is the marginal benefit and the total benefit, marginal cost and the total cost, and the difference between the marginal benefit and the marginal cost, which is net gain, and the decision of being a rational or the decision of rational behavior. I have some practice questions. The first question is, what can be said about scarcity? Option A, scarcity forces us to make choice. That's true. That's what we said. Because of the limited resources in our world and unlimited wants that we have to make a choice. Scarcity forces us to make the choice. So option A should be correct. Let's see the other options for completeness. Option B, scarcity doesn't affect the super wealthy. It does, because we know that all of the goods, all of the resources are scarce. So even if you are super wealthy, even if you have trillions of dollars, still if you cannot find that good or product in the world, it's scarce. If you can count the amount of that product, that means it's scarce. It's going to affect you. Option C, scarcity only affects commodities such as oil, which is not right, of course, because I said it even affects air and water. D, scarcity generally doesn't affect our day-to-day living. It affects because of the scarcity, we always should make choices. It forces us to make choices. So option A should be the correct one. The next question is that the opportunity cost of buying a good is, remember from the definition that it is the next best alternative you could have purchased or you could do. So only the option B gives me that definition. So it says that the value of the next best alternative you could have purchased should be the correct answer. The other question is, with regards to marginal thinking, an individual will do an action if. So from option A, I can see the probability of success. We have never discussed the probability of success in this class, and which is not right because we know that in the marginal thinking, you have to compare the marginal benefit and the marginal cost. A is not correct. B, the action has positive benefit. It doesn't matter if the action has positive benefits. We have to also know the marginal costs, the value of the marginal cost. Without comparing the marginal benefit with the marginal cost, we cannot make a decision. So option B is not right. Option C, the costs of action are small. Again, the problem is the same as we mentioned in option B. Right now, the cost of the action are small, but how about the benefits? Do we know the benefits? Maybe they might be smaller than the cost, so we shouldn't do that action. Again, this information is not given to you, so option C is not right. Option D, the marginal benefit is higher than the marginal cost or at least equal to marginal costs. So that option should be true because as long as the marginal benefit is higher than the marginal cost, you have to continue doing that action. If the marginal benefit equals to marginal cost, you have to do this action and you have to stop. Option D should be the correct answer. The next question is, the governor decides to increase funding for education. However, this will mean decreasing funding for infrastructure. This situation illustrates, so as you can see, governor needs to choose one or the another because the funding is not unlimited. It is limited. There is a scarcity. Remember, the scarcity forces us to make choice. So the choice is related to trade-offs. So the correct option should be the trade-offs. We will cover the markets and the comparative advantage in the week 2 topics. Incentives is not related here. The correct answer should be trade-offs. So we are at the end of the week 1 part 1 video here. And in the next part, we are going to cover how does the economy works, what's the mechanism in the economy. And then we will try to create our first model, which is the simplest model we are going to create in that course, which is called the Production Possibilities Frontier. And finally, we will try to understand what does the law of increasing relative cost mean. Thank you for watching Akademi Ekonometri. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. I'll see you later. Bye bye.